car to him, and he was so afraid that he'd get in trouble. And the guy showed him pictures of the car on his phone. And the guy seduced him into believing that the car, so I paid top dollar for TR6. I paid the very top of it. It was supposed to be a frame-off restoration, right? It's supposed to be a frame-off, everything perfect. It's like a house, you can only spend so much on a car.
Right.
I paid $35,000 for it. The paint absolutely sucked. The paint had to be completely done over. I had to strip the whole car off. So now it's like having a property that you're buried in, right? That's what so I had to do the whole car over. Once again, he was 19. Now, do I fire him for lying to me? I mean, or what do?
Do what Carnegie did.
I did that, so the car is now, that car was supposed to be mine in August. And it's supposed to be perfect. Now it's March, and it has 2 more weeks of buffing the paint, and the next stage is going to be, it's a year project.
It'll look great.
It will look great. But I was very pissed off.
Make a massive car for you.
Well, that comes back to other issues too.
I hired him.
We seem to be wearing multiple hats. We're the entrepreneur, we're also the manager.
Don't forget, it was a babysitter.
And a babysitter, and we're wearing all these hats. So how do we balance?
How can you practically single parents?
Yeah, well,
Right. You just, you can just, right?
Could I answer Darren's question?
No.
So
When you're a speaker, you can.
Yes.
how do we find that good balance between the entrepreneur
Well,
and the
balance?
technician?
Okay, hold on. Balance is like beauty. You know what that means? Eye of the beholder. It's not a black and white situation. You have to determine what your balance is. So I'll be candid with you. I am out of balance right now, and have been for too many years. Because I have a business that, even though I create a lot of money, I have a business that's very service-oriented. So people pay me, and even though they pay me, I still have to invest a lot of time. And I don't really want to farm my coaching clients out to a series of coaches that I hire to leverage. So because I have I'm very skilled at it, I have a very big demand for it, I'm constantly behind. I have people that wait 8 weeks. So people that wait 8 weeks, there's a percent of them are going to start to HM, happen to me. So I'm not in complete balance the way I want it. Now, I enjoy what I do, but I don't love it. And I'm going to just be candid with you. I enjoy what I do, and I am really good at it. I consider myself to be in the top 1/10 of 100% of the people that can do what I do, and I have a niche at it. I can do it for the rest of my life, but here's what I'd rather do. Nothing. I'm candid. I'm not one of these people that has to be busy. I have so many hobbies, aspirations, things I want to do, but I'm like every other business owner. I still have obligations, and I enjoy what I do, but I'm not going to seduce myself to sit and believe I have to love it. I enjoy it. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't have the time freedom that I seek. Now here's what I'm doing. I am in the process of resolving the situation. I just brought on a new product that can give me leverage. I've learned a lot of internet marketing skills that can give me leverage. Also, travel isn't as glamorous as it once was for me. I travel 155,000 air miles. And I do get to fly first class most of the time. I know how to upgrade, I know the system. But 155,000 air miles puts me in a lot of strange places. And a lot of bad food.
It's hard to eat healthy when you're trying.
Well, you gotta adapt. I mean, you gotta learn to navigate. I eat really healthy most of the time, and there's certain times that I eat what the restaurants serve, within reason. So your question about balance is, we gotta find it, if that's what we seek. Then it comes down to this: how much money do I require monthly or annually to live a good life? Then, how much time am I willing to devote over a period of time to get there? Now, the object would be, right, eventually you have PI, passive income. Is that right? Passive income. So how much passive income a month would allow you to live a good life?
30 grand.
30 grand, so that's $350,000 a year, right? 30 grand after taxes should be around 17, 18,000, is that right? Ballpark, maybe less, somewhere in that ballpark. So can you live on 17, 18?
Well, the way we do it, 30 grand, we'll be better off.
Well, you want to have, if you have real estate, you want to have those paid off, right? So if you had 40 properties that you owned outright, what kind of passive income would that create with you?
50, 60,000.
That'd just about do it. If you own them outright, okay, say about $1,500 a month on that right properties. If you're at 60 grand, splitting with.
Did you ever meet a guy that Chad signed up in New Orleans? His name was Rick Marcy, he was one of my clients. Rick Marcy is from Farmington, New Mexico. You know where that is?
Yeah.
Farmington's a really beautiful area in the United States. It's called the Four Corner region. So he lives right there in, would that be New Mexico, right there? Farmington is where the Anasazi ruins are. And you can only get out to the ruins via horseback and jeep. It's a little city of about 100,000 people, give or take. Rick graduated with 350 students, and he was number 349. He barely graduated with a 2.0 grade average. Now today, Rick owns about 80 properties outright in that area. He's also a very skilled contractor. He put his wife through med school at the University of New Mexico. Most of the properties he owns are trailers. Most of his renters are Navajos. And they pay cash.
Beautiful.
They pay cash.
Low overhead.
So his average trailer, his profit is about $400, $500. Now, factor what that would be. It'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Then he went down to Phoenix in 2011, and he was buying property, what, about 25 cents on the dollar back then? 2010, 2011.
20,000 for
Fourplexes. Would that be good?
Yep.
So, how many of you tend to procrastinate when you should be producing? Why? Anyone?
Overwhelmed.
What does overwhelmed mean?
I don't know. Too much on my plate.
What does that mean? Say it's the same. That's the same synonym. What does it really mean?
Said yes too many times.
Taking on too much
So
responsibility.
Daryl, here's what I do with this. Why is that your identity? Where did this become a condition? That's a behavior.
Taking on too many responsibilities.
That's still in effect. Why is that a condition? That's a behavior.
I was asking if that's.
If that's a situation, that's a condition, it's a behavior. Here's what many people ask me, right, Carolyn? How do I, and what's my question? I always turn that question around. Why do you? How is the blueprint, right? But if you're not going to follow the blueprint if you're overwhelmed. Why do you do what you do? Cause and effect. Why are you overwhelmed though? It becomes a neurological condition based on behavior. It becomes a state of brainwave.
Because he wants to be.
Why is it?
Mm,
Hold on.
I don't want to be.
But see, no,
because I
Dad.
haven't. Well, I know, like, because I haven't learned a different habit.
So I'm a recovering alcoholic. Now, I would wake up overwhelmed and go to bed overwhelmed, and I'd be in complete control of the control I was out of control of. So that would be an overwhelmed state. And I would try and remember where I bought alcohol the day before, because I was trying to control. I didn't want the same guy to see me buy alcohol in the same store. That's the kind of overwhelm I was in. So being overwhelmed has many, many situations. But if you're over obligated, what does that mean? What does that mean? Why? Why do you have challenges with that?
It's a combination of not saying no and not organizing it properly.
Do you feel guilty?
Yeah.
Pardon?
You feel guilty?
Right.
Feel responsible. Right?
Guilty. Then why do you feel guilty? For me,
Well,
I was an accident. I got a mixed message from my father. My father, this is the message I got from him. I was born to play sports for him. That's the message I got. I was born to take care of his dog kennels. That's what I was born for. I was born to take care of my parents. That's the message I got. I cleaned their house, I organized their house. This became part of my identity because my parents organized nothing. They lived in that kind of state where you open, their house looked pseudo good. If you opened any drawer or refrigerator or anything that wasn't frontal, it was a disaster. Anyone live like this?
That was my ex.
So I took on, this is a role I took on. This is also why I became a very skilled multitasker. But here's how this affected me. My father was my coach in 2 sports, and he was freaking good too. Now, I hear grown men who are my age will fly from all over the world to spend time with my father, and I'll never fly to see my father. He won't fly to see me because he just doesn't care. And so he doesn't care, I don't care. It's just a wasted effort. So people will say to me, your dad was like the dad I never had. And so both my brother and I become addicts and alcoholics out of this family. My parents are beautiful people. They look good. They're still married. They're still sexy in their 70s. They look good their whole life. Neither one of them were drug addicts or alcoholics, but both their sons were. This is a condition that becomes behavior, isn't it? And my brother and I are polar opposite. He's a high school teacher who doesn't have an entrepreneurial bone in his body. He's an employee. He's a teacher. He's a coach. So I'm just showing you conditions that are behaviors. And here's the message that I got real early in my life. I could score 28 points in a high school basketball game and get my ass chewed. I could excel in sports, I could excel in grades, I could excel in anything. And my father would put me against the wall, and he would go, why, when?
Never good enough.
It was never good enough. So that message became loud and clear. So this became part of how I got overwhelmed. I could go on vacation and feel guilty. Because I should be home producing. How much money am I losing? So see what I mean? Overwhelm has many faces. You have to take a look at how you get overwhelmed. Now, here's the reset button on overwhelm. There's a reset button on overwhelm. It is called take a deep breath. That's really the reset button. It sounds simple, but this is a fact. Most of society is not conditioned how to do deep breathing. That's why Maharishi International University is a great place to go and really learn the whole REM state, or anywhere you can go to where you can learn a brainwave state that's conducive to this key word, to relaxing. Releasing, letting go. Now once you start to understand this, you won't tend to be as overwhelmed. So in your brain are neurons. And then outside of your brain are receptor cells. So when you go to an overwhelmed state, what happens is the receptor cells start to move in here. The serotonin level starts to drop. And then the cortisol starts to rise. And then all these come together. And then under a microscope, this cell like this condenses and it collapses. So the elastin in your brain tightens. The energy in your body moves from right here, your sexual energy, up here. Your non-dominant shoulder typically raises and your dominant shoulder will drop. Your eye iris from your non-dominant eye, which would be right and your left, like this. And then the words come out of your mouth, ugh. Or another series of words come out of your mouth that becomes all unconscious. This is the overwhelmed state that you are in. The reset button is, because when that happens, this now expands again. So that is a skill to teach yourself once you do that. This is why you ever see an athlete, a really skilled athlete, they step up to the plate, they tap the bat and the plate. They dip, almost anyone who knows how to perform, like you're going to pick up weights, right? Because then you bring your stomach up under your body, that's the reset. But if you stay like this all day long, you're going to stay in fight or flight. And that's where a large percent of society stays, and this is the term, lives in my head. Or this term, processes. I know I should, but I'm going to do it later. I should call those properties. I should go out and find new properties. I should go out and find new prospects. I should call so-and-so. But I'm going to watch another video. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to go to the gym. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the refrigerator. That's what I'll do. I'm going to get on social media. I'm going to get on Facebook and see what everyone else is doing. And this is what happens to a large percent of us. Make sense? What were you going to add an hour ago?
Thank you, Jeff. I was just going to share that I learned from you at Breakthroughs about scheduling, and that when we wear several different hats, like all of us do in this room, that's what I was going to add to you, Daryl. It made sense to me that I can just put that hat on and delegate the time for that particular time frame of what I need to do. That was just very helpful, and I learned that from Jeffrey, because I too am a recovering procrastinator and overwhelmed.
Dedicated blocks of time.
Thank you.
Dedicated blocks of time. How many of you exercise? Do you tend to exercise whenever you want to exercise, or do you have a routine to exercise at the same time?
Yeah, the dog helps.
The dog helps, right? You walk the dog at the same time?
And then it becomes part of my exercise routine.
Right.
After that.
So, my routine. Now, here's what happens to most employees. Employees have a routine that they neurologically get conditioned to behave in, right? Right?
Yes.
There's a commute, and then there's a time that you produce for someone else, right? But this is baffling. Why do so many people that can do it for someone else have challenges doing it for self?
Associated with work.
Right, okay, so we have a bedroom and we have a boardroom, right? And there's usually about 30 seconds that we commute between that. Theoretically, that could be our bedroom and this could be our home office. Why do so many people have challenges being in this room? Why is this?
In my case, they're the same.
Here's the kitchen. Here's the kitchen. Here's the refrigerator. A lot of people go here to here. They do a U-turn. They go into the kitchen, they hang out, and one of the most relaxed places in the house is the kitchen. What's the rule of thumb when you show a house? What do you better have?
Go right to the kitchen and bathroom.
Kitchen and bathroom. Why is that?
It's really the only thing in the house worth looking at or being in.
Where
People
feel. You want to feel relaxed.
People feel.
So if you're going to paint the picture to sell a house, what had you better do?
You better have a killer kitchen and some killer master bathroom.
Why is that?
And make it smell like cookies.
Why? Okay, go ahead. Why?
Why? Because it brings back memories and it makes them feel
It's
comfortable.
an emotional
Feel like
state.
at home.
Keep
And
going.
you're playing to your buyer's emotions.
What does that mean to play your? You hear what they're telling you? What does this mean?
Connecting to good feelings in childhood.
You know that most buyers are going to have an emotionally positive feeling in the kitchen and in the master bathroom. Places to relax, places to eat, places to socialize.
So in my kitchen, I have a window here, looks out there, and then I have a wall here, and I'm going to build a booth right here. Like a restaurant booth with tufted vinyl, navy blue tufted vinyl, it's going to be tall. And there's a window right here that you can still see out. So it's going to go like this and this, and it's going to be tufted. The bench, and then the back of it. So it would be like a place that, you get it?
Yeah.
Comfort, yeah.
Yeah, like you said in a really, really upscale restaurant. That's painting the picture, isn't it?
Yep.
Painting the picture.
When you drew that, it sounded like a booth at Denny's.
No, no,
Tufted.
no, it's going to be tall.
Okay.
This is more like a speakeasy booth in a restaurant in Chicago is where I got the model called the Gaston. So the booth is tall.
Gino's?
Pardon?
That's the old Gino's.
The Gaston, well, it's actually, right, yeah. You know, are you from Chicago?
Yeah, well, long time ago. Yeah.
Carolyn's from Homewood.
All right.
Carolyn and I have dined in that restaurant. It's awesome, isn't it?
That really was a speakeasy.
It was, it really was a
That's a
speakeasy.
cool place I got it, yeah.
See now how the picture you paint.
Yes,
Yeah.
relatability.
Design my life. What does that mean?
You're in control of what you're doing.
So when you design your life, you design it to be overwhelmed?
No,
Why not?
Don't like it.
that hurts.
So what is the outcome of being overwhelmed?
Procrastinate.
Anxiety, procrastination.
All right, so what's the outcome of anxiety?
Avoidance,
No, hold on, what's the outcome of anxiety? Go deeper than that.
depression.
Pain.
All right, but the outcome of anxiety typically to your body is what?
Health.
Specifically, what is anxiety affect? What, the adrenals, number one, which creates adrenal fatigue.
Yes, you feel tired and drained.
Also, well, the drainage comes from the lymph system, the lymphatic system. So there are places on your body that you can massage to assist this. Your lymph system is the groove between your big toe and your inner toe, right there. You can massage that and it will put blood in it. And also your digestive system gets affected by this. So what's the flusher of your system? The liver. The liver reflex is right here. So that assists you. Also, there are many really, really good detoxes, cleanses, and flushes that you can do. You ever heard of a gall cleanse? Ever heard of that? We're in about 22 hours time, or no less than that, it's about a 15-hour process. You can flush hundreds of gallstones. Now, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to flush gallstones?
So they don't get
So you don't
big.
have to get rid of.
Well, what is a gallstone?
Calcium.
Build up and then some kind of bacteria or something.
So if you do your first gall cleanse, you'll flush about 20 gallstones that size your first time around.
Whoa.
About that size will come out as you pass them, and then hundreds of very little ones. A lot of them are also called fecal matter. So this is the byproduct of what happens when you eat bad food and you don't eliminate it because of what you hold on to, what you process. And then long term, what does that also create? Dis-ease. If you're overwhelmed, also that affects the central nervous system, which also can create Lou Gehrig's disease. So this is the byproduct of this. So you also want to teach yourself not to be overwhelmed, you have to be able to rest. What does that mean? What's the difference? What's rest mean? What does that mean?
Not be in your head, not process.
So when it's
Now, if I sleep, if I go to sleep overwhelmed, what does that mean?
You're still overwhelmed.
So what oftentimes happens is if I sleep like that, if I'm right-handed, it's going to affect the left side of my body. So that means that oftentimes when we go to bed with anxiety, then we grind. And we typically grind on the non-dominant side of body. So for right-handed, we'll grind on our left side. If we grew up with a passive-aggressive parent or a passive-aggressive personality, we also will tend to flinch on our non-dominant side of our body first. So right, left, so left, right. So that affects this. So if you're also addicted to being overwhelmed and you produce, there are people who can produce in overwhelmed mode, but it's also exhausting. You can't do it forever. So once again, the brainwave state you want to master, which will take you out of being overwhelmed, is an alpha state. But you also have to learn to have boundaries, and you have to be able to say no. And then also you better have this, a system to produce and a system to relax. Meditation. But you have to be able to, when you're done, you have to be able to be done. You can't keep processing what you didn't do, what you should have done, what I could have done, what I'm going to do. You have to be able to TIO, turn it off. Let's take a quick bathroom break. You do that? There are many gall cleanses you can find. Here's the one I've used for years. It is 1 tablespoon Epsom salt into, you want like a beaker, like a beaker measuring cup, a glass one preferably. 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt in 3/4 of a glass of water.
How many ounces?
Just
3/4.
a cup, 3/4 of a cup.
Okay.
3/4 of a cup. So you're gonna do this. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do this at 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock. 1 tablespoon, 3/4 of a cup. You're
PM or
gonna do
AM?
Pardon?
6 a.m. or 6
Hold on, I'll just in case you're sorry. All right. You're gonna do this at 6 p.m. And at 2 o'clock, you're gonna stop eating. Don't eat anything after 2 o'clock. This is not gonna debilitate you. If you have a job, you would miss, you're gonna be in your house is why. So you wanna do this, if you're gonna do it on a Friday night or a Saturday, you'll be amazed at what happens. So you do this at 6, you stop eating, so you can do this theoretically if you have a job on Saturday, if you're self-employed at home and you still produce at your home. It's not gonna take you out any production. You're gonna be in the bathroom a while. You're gonna be close to a bathroom. So at 6 o'clock and 8 p.m., this is the concoction, 1 tablespoon and 1 tablespoon. At 8 p.m., you'll start to have bowel movements. It'll start. And then at 10 o'clock, you're going to have already prepared this. You're going to take pink grapefruits, and you're going to hand squeeze the pink grapefruit juice, and then you're going to strain it so there's no pulp, and it's all juice. It'll be about 3 grapefruits. And then you're going to have a combination of, it's going to be 2/3 olive oil, and the other 1/4 of the cup up to 3/4 of a cup. The rest of that's going to be grapefruit juice. So it's 2/3 of a cup of olive oil. You drink this at 10 o'clock and you lay down. Because what the olive oil starts to loosen the stones in the bile duct and the gallbladder. So it'll start to loosen the stones. Then you will get up in the morning and you'll repeat this at 6 and 8
In the AM.
in the a.m. and you'll be done.
How much oil?
Okay, so it's going to be 2/3 of a cup of olive oil. And the rest is grapefruit juice. There are many versions of this. This is a very simple one. There's one with lemon juice, there's one with apple juice. What the juice does is the juice neutralizes the taste of the olive oil. The olive oil's purpose is to start to move the stones out of the bile duct.
So you mix the grapefruit with the olive oil?
All in the same beaker. So if you have a measuring cup, right? 2/3 of it is going to be olive oil. The rest up to 3/4. This is usually a 2-cup measuring cup. So 2/3 of it is the olive oil.
And if I stir it really fast,
You can put brown sugar in it. You can put sugar, you can put vitamin C in it. You want to neutralize the taste of the olive oil. It's interesting to get it down, but you want to just take it like this, and the grapefruit juice neutralizes it.
So a total of 3/4 of liquid.
3/4, 3/4, so 3/4, 3/4. 3/4, 3/4, 3/4 of a cup. You're going to be done with the concoction at 8 o'clock, and from 8 o'clock till about 10 and 11, you'll be passing the stones. You'll have a diarrhea that's just water. It's just like, it's like you've turned on you just turned on the water full blast. Then about 2 o'clock you can eat. Noon, 2 o'clock, you can go back to a normal day, and you'll have no effect. You won't be bedridden, you won't lay down.
What's the effect of not carrying the stones anymore?
Oh, me?
Anyone,
Well, everything will clear up. Your liver is your central, that filters everything. So if your filter's
So it comes
blocked,
from your liver, not your gall.
your skin, your hair, your nails, everything, your clarity, everything will start to function better. Your body will start to efficiently operate the way it was designed to operate.
You said you take that at 11 o'clock?
6 p.m.,
Right.
8 p.m.,
Right.
10 o'clock.
Okay.
But it's not going to be life or death if you do it at 9:30 or 10:30. The key is somewhere in here is to drink it and lay down. Because laying down gets the stones moving. You'll screw the whole thing up if you don't lay down. Now, here's what's important. You should do this once a month for life.
I mean, you're doing the Epsom salt again, 6 a.m., 8 a.m.
Right, but you should do something similar to this once a month for life.
Yes.
Put it in
Then
my
you're
calendar.
on off.
And then your diet. Should your diet improve?
Absolutely.
This is one of my most exceptional clients. This is a local San Diego girl who lives in La Mesa,
Yes, yes.
Crystal Lowry.
Thank you, Jeff.
Crystal is
Appreciate it.
a top-tier fitness competitor, model, personal success coach, multipreneur. Tell them a little bit about nutrition and what you do.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Yes, sports nutritionist and a professional fitness competitor and personal trainer.
What does that mean, professional fitness?
Well, I followed a system to be able to go from an amateur to a pro, so I'm not just showing up and being a poser. So Jeff has assisted me to recognize for the fact that I actually have systems in place that have assisted me to be able to have a physique that physically people like, but internally what's going on is that I feel equally as amazing, and a lot of times people don't really understand that. So what that comes from is your nutrition. I carry my food with me everywhere. Do I eat in restaurants? Yes, I do. But do I have a system every single day that works for me?
I
Yes.
see this with you all the time, so why do you carry this with you all the time?
Because this is my fuel. It is premium high octane fuel. I want to manage what I put in my body because it's essential. What he is describing here, how your system operates is how you operate in your day. So when Jeff talks about his systems as an entrepreneur, from businesses to making your bed, what you do daily is a reflection of how you do everything. What does your car look like? What does your closet look like? What foods do you consume? What does your refrigerator and your cupboards look like? So I assist my clients not only with physically training them in the gym, but I also assist them with meal plans, and it goes beyond that. I can give you a meal plan, but I don't feel it's serving you best if I just give you a meal plan that's cookie cutter, meaning here you go, here you go, here you go. So I personalize it. So I'm a lifestyle coach, and what I do is I learn a little bit about you and the habits that you have in your life. I break it down and find out why it's so hard for you to cross that threshold and get into a gym. And once you get there, most of the time people don't actually know what they're doing, do they, Caroline?
That's right.
And even though they think they know what they're doing. And when they think they're eating healthy, I break it down and show them why I see the loopholes in them. So I have a 12-week program, 90-day program that assists people. I meet with them once a week, whether it's on the phone or in person, and I start to break down and identify why you do what you do in the realm of health and fitness to assist you and be able to operate efficiently in your body, to look and feel amazing every single day. This is not by accident, it is on purpose. I get up at the same time every single day. I drink the same amount of water every single day. I eat pretty much the same food every single day. Why? Because I feel amazing.
But the American populace will have this one statement, right? That's boring.
Yes.
Is dying boring?
It's amazing, you guys. Jeff has assisted me in so many ways, but, you know, talking about what it is that I do specifically, but he's assisted me because once upon a time, I used to think that what I do was, in essence, boring, and I was actually criticized for doing what I do.
You're getting criticized for carrying your own food. too.
Correct. I got criticized, I got ridiculed for having my own food and having it in people's homes, or whatever it is I chose to do. Now, isn't that my choice? And isn't that something that shouldn't affect anyone else? Why would that be a reflection of you? Why were you offended by the fact that I'm choosing to make healthier choices?
In many cultures, food is a way of life, and food is also how prosperity is distributed, correct?
Correct,
So
absolutely.
if you're not eating my food, then you are rejecting me.
Yes, and you're disrespectful.
Very
Yes.
common in Jewish and Italian culture.
And clients come to me and tell me that. So I break it down. And
Possibly Spanish, but it's primarily prevalent in specifically Italian culture and Jewish culture. If you're not eating my food, then you're disrespecting me.
You can bring a
Okay,
big
so
bag.
what?
Okay, I mean, any culture, and in social engagements, right? So my clients would say, well, Crystal, I've got a birthday, a baby shower, etc. I said, great, I do too. My life does not stop just because I choose to carry my food with me. I will get up earlier, I'll prepare it, and I'll be set to go.
It's a whole different kind of decision and commitment.
It is. And to go professional in my sport, it was a decision. This is what Jeff has helped me assist me in seeing. Even though I was already doing this in my life, you guys, I was at the amateur level, and then I rose to the level of being a professional athlete prior to meeting Jeff. But now I'm in the process of becoming a professional entrepreneur to, you know, look at all the aspects that I can.
Show what happens in steel.
All right.
Thank you.
Tell me about a year older.
I have those
Yes.
under my fat.
Well, exactly. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Daryl. So yeah, to shed the fat.
You're there.
We are designed, you guys, to be bodies in motion, to be lean, healthy, fit, to be alert, be acute, be, on top of things. And it comes from your nutrition. So I can assist you. My name is Crystal Lowry. Please Facebook friend me. My phone number is 619-922-1990. My website is fitnessdesires.com. And I do offer a free 15-minute consultation to discuss what you are currently doing, what you would like to do, to see if you do qualify for my program. We can talk about moving forward and doing that. And please feel free to talk to me at any time today, and we can set that appointment up for you as well.
I have a question. What do you bring for lunch? Is it good?
It's amazing,
How much- just tell me
a salad I made, it has, greens, spinach, kale, cilantro, Swiss chard, you name it, it's in there. I make my own salad dressing, although last night in La Jolla, we found a restaurant that had some amazing balsamic, and I put that on there today, it was awesome.
Found a
So-
great olive oil store last night.
In La Jolla.
We Olive, have you ever been to it?
Oh, it was amazing, you guys. Amazing, so we purchased some
That sounds
balsamic.
better than what most places serve.
Yeah, absolutely, so yes, veggies, proteins, you balance it all out.
So just factor, take this to Crystal
Thank
hand.
thank you.
Factor 1900, how food was different. What was the difference in 1900 versus 2014? Right, we'll be in the number one situation, there was no refrigeration.
No preservatives.
Right, so what would the difference be in the American diet?
Fresh.
Where we grew up, Miguel, they had barn raisings, right? That was a big deal if you grew up out in the country. A barn raising was like a festival. So it was a real delicacy to have a pie. Now in today's world, we can buy snowballs. Remember those?
Yeah, nutritious.
Snowball. Remember what a snowball is?
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes.
Those?
Pink or white?
Pink or white. It was a marshmallow concoction that had this coconut, right? A snowball, right? How about a Twinkie? Twinkie. So if you do this gall cleanse, you'll see a Twinkie come out. That's right. And also in your upper intestine, we tend to hold on to a process called mucoid plaque. Now, if you ever want to take your cleansing to the next level, the master cleanse. Have you ever did that cleanse?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where you can actually take the mucoid plaque out of your system. That is herbdoc.com. Dr. Schultz? Yeah, he's not a network marketing company. He sells great products. The reason that this is important in the overwhelmed state, so you're not overwhelmed, optimum performance. What does that mean? See, we're not playing in the Super Bowl. That's not what we do as business owners. We're not playing for one game, right? We're not playing for a short career like the average athlete that plays in the four major sports, the NHL, the NFL, Major League Baseball, and the other sport is the Not Basketball Association anymore. So the four major sports, the average length of their career is about 4 years. Now, Monica, you started your real estate investing career at what age? 20 years old. So you're 26? So you've got 6 years in the game. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's right. So this is a long-term game. Is that correct? Now, have you made some mistakes in your entrepreneurial career?
Many.
So in your book of life, many of us are at about chapter 6 through 9. We're going through that stage in our life. Now we get to about I like to write books that are 13 chapters. It's the Baker's Dozen. You get the extra chapter in the 13th. So I like to write books that are about 200 pages in length, 13 chapters. I have a page count. I have a system to write a book. And if you notice that all 4 of my books were written in a system. See, they're the same size. They're all similar. And I self-published all 4 of these books. The same page count, that means I have a recipe. And if you start to live in a system, and you become a lot more systematized, you'll spend less time being overwhelmed. But if you continue to WI wing it, what tends to happen?
Procrastinate.
This is why you should teach yourself to exercise at a routine time, dine at the same time. You should start to create a neurological network as a business owner that's going to be conducive to being able to do two situations: produce and relax without feeling overwhelmed. If you procrastinate when you should be producing, there's a high probability you'll feel guilty and overwhelmed when you're relaxing.
We have a lot of distractions. Our phone, probably everybody could agree, that our phone is probably one of my biggest distractions anyway. That I have a set plan of things we have to do, my phone rings, and then all of a sudden, my whole plan for the day gets.
That's your responsibility to let go. And see how your words, see the words that you say?
Yes.
See how you speak? You speak your overwhelmed into existence before it even happens. And you're not aware of that. You're already in fight or flight before it happens. You're in DM, defense mode. Where did you learn that behavior?
Probably self-taught.
Who was the passive-aggressive personality in your background? Because that's all defense. It's not always apparent. Any of you go to Catholic school?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have a nun that was a little aggressive? Any of you? Did you have? Did you have? I mean,
That's why the priest for you guys knows against them.
right? Those things happen. In my high school, we had a teacher who in 1970 took these two twins that were in my class. He had them lay their hands out on the desk because they kept writing on the wooden desk. And it chapped his ass, quite frankly. So he had them put their hands out. He took one of those very thick yardsticks like this and hit both their hands several times. Also, remember in junior high and high school in the 70s, 60s, superintendent and principals had paddles with holes.
Right.
Remember those? Baseball, a whole different situation that goes on in today's world.
We have the leather straps and chain cuts.
Gerald, here's your affirmation for today. I'll be right here with you. Now that I am grown up. Now that I'm grown up. Fill in the blank. I am learning how to let go of being overwhelmed. Now that I'm grown up. I have a tendency to be less overwhelmed. But if your self-talk says, this always happens, my phone rings and, you're predicting the future. You're creating the very situation you seek to avoid to be disappointed. Who suffers from your being overwhelmed? That's the question. Who's we?
Me, myself, and I.
No, that's you. But who else suffers from you being overwhelmed?
Business partners, wives, influences.
So you're Mormon?
No, sorry. My wife.
Yeah, we've seen Big Rock.
My wife's not quite that underworld.
Very easy.
Pardon?
One's enough.
Remember Jeff Watson?
One's too many.
Remember Jeff Watson?
Come to see.
He was from Utah. He specialized in Corvettes. He did Corvettes. His son was a client. He was his client. He was one of Chad's teammates. His son was Aaron Watson. Won the money game once at Breakthroughs. He was one of 21 children.
Wow.
3 wives.
Yeah.
Mm.
You remember that culture in Colorado City, Arizona? Warren Jeffs. I coached 2 of his nephews in that culture. Milton Jeffs, remember him? He escaped from that culture when he was 17 years old.
We know about blocking time, huh?
He does. Do you have a question to go?
Yeah, so you talk about passive aggression, and I'm attempting to identify, where my past, which one of my parents was that. So I don't really understand that concept of passive aggression. What is that in relation to aggression?
It means that there's an unpredictable personality in your past. It means they may show love and turn around and violate you. It means that they may show favoritism and then you may not be the favorite. It means that they're unpredictably predictable. And as a child, you don't really understand that. So then what that typically does for you, if you grow up in that, then we typically mate and marry one of these people.
So my mom, she had manic depression.
Okay, so now the plot thickens.
That would be very
The
clear.
plot thickens, especially if medication begins involved or alcoholism. So if you grow up in a household with alcoholics that are violent, or you witness violence, or you're part of violence, your body starts to fall into alignment with what's going on in that household. It starts to affect us neurologically. So then we become an adult child of an alcoholic, we become codependent, or we become an addict. Usually these situations start to happen, which then will show up in food, money, and mating. Now you start to understand what happens here? Now, if you don't understand any of this, you're just going to do that which is familiar, and then you wake up every day with a headache, right? And then the non-dominant side of your neck starts to break down. You just told me the whole story, Monica, if I was your coach. So you come from two worlds, the Laotian world and the Spanish world, right? So you got a good dad and a bad mom, right? Or, I mean, good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
You got a dad that's in the Laotian side that's loving, right? And then you said you have a mom that no matter what you do is not good enough. See, this is passive aggressive right here. She's got the loving side and the aggressive side. So she can make whatever you do, why is it not good enough?
Yeah, mom's the Russian side.
Okay, why is it not good enough? Well, many times, someone we grow up with is intimidated by us. We might outshine them. We might actually show them up. That's not our intention, that's not what we're attempting to do, but our brilliance sometimes invalidates them. Because they decided to do everything for us, or whatever the story is. There's a story that's told, so it's very important to learn to let go of the story. What's the story you're overcoming, Crystal?
Jeff, the story I'm overcoming is that my dad wanted me to be a boy.
That's a whole nother story in itself, isn't it? Especially if you get forced into wearing men's clothing. I've had that happen. I've had men who their mother wanted them to be a girl, so the mother dressed them up as a girl.
Works for a while.
It doesn't. That's not funny either, at all. Go ahead. So how's that play out over your life?
Jeff, that plays out that I was always trying to get approval from my dad.
What do you do for a career?
He was a police officer
Where?
here in town, Oklahoma, PD.
And then what was your mom like?
My mom was codependent. She wanted to have 10 kids if she could. She wanted to be a mom just to raise kids. My parents got divorced at a very young age. My mom married an alcoholic. It was constant violence. Never knew how I was going to make it to school the next morning. Got thrown in cars in the middle of the night, chased by guns, rocks thrown through windows. Went to 3 or 4 different schools. When I was 10 years old, moved to different states. I was the oldest child. I took care of everybody, including my mom.
What's that mean?
I was a parent
What is it?
child. So, and I operated my whole life this way.
We all have stories,
Yes.
don't we? We all have a story. A lot of our stories are stories of what?
Passive aggressive or tragedy or trauma. Something's happened.
Stories of dysfunction.
Correct. Yes.
Stories of dysfunction. Now here I am, a soul having a human experience, right? I seek a little more than the rest of the world. I seek enlightenment. Is that right? Is that right? Because I'm speaking collectively for us. I'm looking for the good life. And I'm also intelligent enough to know that it's not Shangri-La. I mean, correct?
Yes.
And I know that part of my time is going to be devoted to trading time for money, right? But I'm going to trade time for money. I want to be able to create some leverage in that. Is that correct?
Yes.
So that eventually I'll be able to enjoy more of the good life, right? But if I'm overwhelmed in my story and I don't really know how to let go of my story and I keep living out the same story over and over, what's going to happen to me?
Attract the same people and do the same thing over and over again. And never let go, never live a peaceful life.
Live in the moment, live in the
Well,
now.
not only that, but I'll spend way too much of my time in doubt.
Yes.
Now, doubt is the space